Michael and I see that all the time. Whenever we have a meeting, like, we might have different ways of how we think we should get somewhere, but we're always pushing in the same direction.
Welcome to Clicks and Bricks Podcast. We talk about the entrepreneur mindset.
If you get one shot at this, what kind of shot are you going to take?
If we forget who we are, they're going to forget who you are.
You've got an adversity story that's out of this world.
Everything from that Main Street brick and mortar to that billion-dollar manufacturer.
Leo, thank you so much for joining us today. We're super excited to have you on the show to learn about your company, about how you got started and what you guys do. Can you tell us a little bit more about what is Consume Media?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, we are Consume Media. So we are a video marketing agency based out of Atlanta. As a video marketing agency, what we do is we create videos for businesses. We create anything from a 15-second animated ad to a large budget TV commercial, anything in between. So animated explainers, testimonials, how-to videos, you name it. Anything that a business can need, we create.
So you specifically make video production for businesses to help them sell their product. Does that include training videos?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, like I said, anything a business can need. So we think about it, businesses are typically trying to do 3 or 4 different things. They're trying to either attract new leads, new prospects,
Right.
engage those prospects and turn those into customers, and take those customers and turn them into lifelong customers and advocates of your brand. But also there's internal needs like recruiting and onboarding employees. So between those 4 buckets, those are usually where our video needs come in. Sometimes there's like they need to promote an event, or there's specialty things, but it will still fall into one of those buckets. Like you still want to attract someone to an event or convert them to buy that ticket. So yeah,
Right.
really, really attract, engage, delight, and retain and hire and retain talent.
I'm a huge fan of video, and if for the fans of the show know that I went to film school, made short films when I was younger, then got out of that industry in 1999 and went into IT, and I'm just now getting back in the last couple of years. Where do you see today kind of the long pole in the tent for a company to get started with video production to help grow their business?
So the question is how should a business get started essentially with video?
Or what do you see like the biggest hurdles for companies that are getting started, right? Like what do they need to have in place before they scratch their head and say, man, video would help me here? What are some of the things that they should have before they even come to you?
Sure. I mean, how we like to think about it, and I'll kind of go a roundabout way with this answer is, you always want to have the foundation of your business before you bring in video, because video is the accelerant, right? So let me kind of position it how I tell my clients. It's like, I tell them you don't want to start with the $100,000 TV commercial. That's not a good place to start, because then they're going to get to your website, but your website's not good and there's not video on your website. There's not what you need there. Start with the smaller pieces of content. Start with building out the bottom of the funnel. Maybe even start with the training videos for your customers. Maybe start with the high conversion pieces. And then when it's time to create the big TV ad or the big media campaign, your content's there, your solutions are ready. So, you put a bunch of money into an ad campaign, it's going to convert faster. So like, that's how I think about it from a video perspective. And the same sort of idea has got to apply for any part of a business, right? You got to have your foundation, you got to have your systems, and then video is going to be the accelerant that's going to help you across the journey. It's going to help you attract more prospects, engage them, delight them, and ultimately, have lifelong customers.
Right. You said, and I didn't even think about this when we first started talking, was training videos for your clients. When I think of training videos, I think of training for my staff, but training potential clients on how to use your product is a video that everybody needs that for. If you have a product that's demonstrable, then you should have a video that shows how to use that product, right?
Exactly.
And I think that goes for everything from software to refrigerators, right? I mean,
Yeah.
everything you could.
And
you
we've
make a
done
video.
both of that. Like we've done we have a lot of software clients. We found ourselves in the SaaS space.
Right.
So we, for the customer education, we do have bottom of the funnel, like how to use this product videos from a value proposition standpoint. And then once they become a customer, we have actually onboarding videos that say like, hey, at first you're going to do this, then you're going to do this, then you're going to do this. But then one of my favorite videos, I mean, we made this 5 years ago, but it's still one of my favorite videos, was for a client called Evo Shield. If you watch a lot of baseball, you see the Evo Shield logo on a lot of the players, and they were having a problem with all these teenagers. It's a gel to shell product. So basically, if you buy a wrist guard, it like molds to your arm.
Oh, cool.
But they're having a problem because people didn't know how to fit it correctly, right? So they're getting all these returns. So they're like, guys, help us make a how-to video. And, this was for teenagers, high school kids. So like we had a lot of fun with it, had some really cool motion graphics,
Right.
animations, all these really, really fancy visual effects. But like you said, you say refrigerators to software, I say software to baseball gear, it's all the same, right?
Right. Absolutely. All right. So now you're the co-founder of Consume Media. Can you tell us a little bit about the story in the creation of the company, and what it was like to form a company with a partner?
Yeah, no, great question. So I was a junior in college when I had the idea of Consume Media. And when I say I had the idea of Consume Media, I joke, but I'm also kind of serious. I really just didn't want to get an internship. I wanted to start my own business. Like YouTube was becoming a thing, and
Right.
you start to see like you don't need $1 million to make a video anymore. Like you can get a camera at the store for a few hundred, $1,000 and start making something. So I saw that the access level had been lowered, or it was easier to have access into the industry. And ultimately, I convinced my business partner, still my business partner 10 and a half years later, let's start this business. Let's get into it. And, we didn't really have much of a game plan besides let's make videos this summer, but we did. That's exactly what we did. We started making videos. I went to school at the University of Georgia, in Athens, Georgia. And if you know
Okay.
anything about Athens, Georgia, it has a fantastic music scene. And that's what we started. We started getting in with the local musicians, the local artists, filming their concerts, making music videos. Did that for years. And then when we moved back to Atlanta, realized we needed to kind of get into the corporate space to sustain
Right.
a living. So that was kind of, that's the short form story of how we got into video marketing. But
Okay.
me and my business partner, we've actually been friends since the third grade, which is crazy, but we've been friends
Right.
since third grade. And when we started as partners, we both had that attitude, like, let's both try everything. We know naturally you're going to be better at some things and you're going to be better at other things, but let's try everything and like actually see it for ourselves. And we really did. Like, we did both sides of the job for multiple years, and after a couple of years, it's like, okay, I should really stop spending my time doing this, and you should really stop spending your time doing this. And
Right.
that's kind of how, but it's the type of thing that when you're young, you're 21, 22 years old, you just have to see it for yourself. You have to do it because there's always the what if factor, right?
Absolutely. I know my internship. I loved live event videography. It was a huge passion of mine when I was younger. Unfortunately, I was in an accident and wasn't able to do it any longer.
Mhm.
Changed my career trajectory quite a bit. But I want to talk about the transition from the live event to the produced and kind of what that transition was like. But I want to go back because having a partnership, generally I advise against it. To if somebody comes to me and said, hey, we're thinking about having a partnership, or I'm thinking about bringing this partner in, I ask the question, are you sure you want a partnership and not own 100% of your company? What are they bringing to the table?
Mhm.
Can you tell us about some of the agreements that you had that made before going into the company, before being partners, that helped this 10-year partnership? I'm positive it's always been hugs every morning and never having a fight and cookies on Friday afternoon. But what were some of the key factors for you guys to have in place to make sure that this was a successful partnership and to remove some of the potential turmoil?
Sure. I mean, we were 21 when we started the business, right? So,
Yeah.
to be honest, at the time, the stakes were extremely low. We were still in school. Candidly, we didn't have to make a lot of money at the time. We were both supported by our families. The stakes were low, but we we made an operating agreement, but I don't feel like like that really made a much of a difference for
Okay.
our relationship and the partnership. I think ultimately some of the things about a partnership are not things that can be put on paper. It's just like the invaluables, right?
Mhm.
There's got to be some sort of yin and yang, right? You've just got to think about things differently, but most importantly, you have to be aligned on the same goals. And Michael and I have see that all the time. Whenever we have a meeting, like we might have different ways of how we think we should get somewhere, but we're always pushing in the same direction. Um, and it's not like a one-to-one answer to your question, because I don't think like there was a piece of paper or something that we signed that
Right.
said, this is gonna be the reason this works. I don't think that would have worked for me as a 21-year-old kid, 31
Right.
year old now. It was really just about mutual respect and being aligned in that goals, but also thinking, having enough of a difference in perspective that you're going to think differently.
Right. And I think, if you've been friends since you were, did you say 3 years old or third grade?
No, third grade.
Third grade. I'm sure you have a way of communicating short form that only you two understand.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, yeah,
So I,
yeah,
I, it's tough going into business with a partner. It can destroy relationships. It can create all kinds of havoc. So congratulations on doing that at such a young age and
thank you.
then figuring it out. Now, I'm sure that you're kind of a unicorn story on starting the company in college. You've done some pivots throughout the course of the company. It's unusual for a company to start, a person to start their first company and have it for 10 years,
Hmm.
right, without making significant changes.
Hmm.
Sounds like you guys haven't had a whole lot of significant changes. Video production, the name's the same partnership. Was this your first at bat for starting a company, or is this something that you've been doing since you were a little kid?
So it was my first at bat for starting a company. My dad had his own business. Like, you know, there's only so much to that, right? You see your dad growing up working hard, but you don't actually understand what running a business is like, right? But
Right.
I guess I had it in my blood that I always wanted to start a business. And I did. So that's what we did. I just said, hey, like, I don't want an internship. I'm gonna start this business. And it was really as simple as that from the get-go. It's not like there's some crazy origin story. It's just like, hey, let's make videos this summer. Let's see how far we can get. And at the end of the summer, let's see if we have clients. Let's see if we can do this through our senior year, and this be our job through our senior year. And then the end of senior year comes around, and it's like, okay, well, we have some clients. Let's keep going. And it's always
Right.
kind of just been that. It's like, okay, we're just a little bit further. We're too far to give up now. We're too far to give up now. We're too far to give up now. And ultimately that ends up with 10 years later us having 15 employees, a couple million in revenue, and growing every year.
Right. I use the phrase frequently when I'm training is you didn't go this far to only come this far. And it
Right. Yeah.
sounds like that's a big part of what kept pushing you guys forward, right?
It was, yeah. I mean, it's just like we've gone too far. Like, if we quit now, we're leaving something on the table, um, and we didn't want to.
Right. So was video and film what you were going to school to do, or was this a
Yes.
complete left turn for you?
No, I switched my major my sophomore year to get into the media space.
Okay.
Growing up, I was always good at math. I went into college thinking I would be a finance or economics major. I called my dad sophomore year. I'm like, hey, I'm dropping out of business school. He's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I dropped out of business school, just joined the journalism career. He's like, Leo, I get it, but like, at least hear me out. Do the business degree, and the media degree. I'm like, no, Dad,
Right.
you're crazy. And then 6 months later, I'm like, yeah, you're actually pretty smart. I think I want to do that. So
Yeah.
I ended up getting the business degree and the media degree. My business partner had a management information systems degree, but also a new media certificate. So we figured put these 4 things together. Maybe we can start a business with this.
Right. And you know this, and I journalism school does not teach you how to produce videos.
No.
No, not even close, right? So I went to journalism school as well, and they did attempt to teach me English. And I tried. I'm not very good at that at homework and stuff like that. So, all right, 21 years old, in college, you start the company. I'm assuming with your best friend, and you graduate from college, and now you've got this puppy of a business on your hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Parents are all on board for you to keep moving down this path.
They probably had their doubts, but they let me.
Yeah.
I did move to my parents' house after college. I stayed there for a little bit, and they were down. They'd had their doubts, but they were down. They wanted to see us succeed, even if they weren't so sure. At the time, we're still in the music industry, so my dad's saying like, "Hey, like I don't think this is where you are going to make your money. Like, let me introduce you to some people. Like, I
Right.
know some people in the corporate video space, have these conversations, try these things." And that opened the doors. Just having conversations, finding out, oh, like I'm charging $500 to set out 10 cameras at a concert, but I know this one videographer who shoots corporate, and he charges 7 times that much to go out for a few hours. I'm like, oh, okay, like there's something there. And we just
Yeah.
kept on trying to do the music industry for a long time. It was a lot of fun. It's cool. You get to meet artists who you think are really
Absolutely.
great. You're out at
And the
night, and
fringe benefits are amazing.
yeah. So it
Yes.
was awesome. It was a lot of fun, but ultimately got to make a living, right? My
Yes.
favorite story of this is once we got into the corporate space, we had one client that first year who paid us more than the entire concert industry the year before.
Oh wow. There you go. Yeah, and I think for young entrepreneurs out there, young people, and they're trying to figure out where to go into business at. B2B pays really well. It's kind of hard to get started, right? But once you build a name for yourself, then it pays well.
Yes,
The entertainment industry, it's a feast or famine. There's no in between. Either you're a starving artist or you're super rich.
exactly.
There's not a whole lot of people that are in the middle that make a healthy lifestyle living in the entertainment industry, right?
And it's their
doesn't happen.
vendors too, right? Justin Bieber's vendors are probably rolling in the dough, but we weren't
Correct.
working with Justin Bieber.
Right. So it's a bigger gamble. The payoff could be bigger at the end potentially,
Mhm.
but you just never know if you're going to hit it like that. And I don't know what it
Exactly.
takes to be there. And I've been on both sides of that fence too. And it's I understand both of them. Both of them are fun.
Yeah.
I left my video stories. I ended up leaving pretty disgusted after I booked a job on how to pour concrete, and I spent a week in Nebraska shooting concrete drying and I was like, this is not for me. This is not what I signed up for. So I left the
Sure.
video industry and did some stuff. But I've been in IT for the last 20 years, and I've very much enjoyed it. Just now getting back into the entertainment side of things of the world. So
Very cool.
super cool that you've got your partner's your best friend. I'm assuming you guys are still really good friends, right?
Yeah,
Work
we're still
together every
really good
day?
friends. I was the best man at his wedding.
There you go. Both have families now?
He just got married last March. I'm getting married this coming May.
Congratulations. And
Thank
the
you.
significant others are on board. They're supportive. They understand what it is to be a business owner and have employees.
Oh yeah. I mean, they love it. Like Michael's wife has been there since the very beginning. They've been
Oh, wow.
dating for forever. So like she has seen us evolve since the early stages.
Right.
Um My fiance comes from a family where she understands the value of hard work. Her dad has always been working hard, and I think that there's something to that, just being comfortable with kind of that grind mindset.
Right. All right, Leo. So you and Michael are in the music industry, shooting these videos, live events, and I guess some kind of MTV kind of videos, and you make the decision to go into corporate America. Was that a trickle effect, or was that a, hey, this is it, this is what we're doing moving forward? Or did you run literally two different businesses for a while?
That's a great question, and it's kind of like the two different businesses for a while. Like, we had consume media. Internally, we started calling them different things, like consume concerts and consume creative.
Okay.
So it was probably, if I were to lay the timelines, like 2012 only concerts, 2013 we maybe had one or two corporate gigs, the rest concerts. 2014, probably 75% concerts for our time and 25% corporate, but the revenue was closer to 50-50. And that's probably when we should have
Right.
changed. But then 2015 came around, and it was another year kind of like that. Call it 75% of our concerts, of our time in concerts, but 50% of our revenue. And then 2016 said, like, let's look at the numbers.
Right.
This, like, let's put emotions aside for a moment. Let's look at the numbers. One of these branches is so much more profitable, and we're getting paid at a better rate for our time. Why are we spending our time here? Well, we're spending our time here because it's fun. It's like, okay, well, fun got us this far, right? And we're still having fun, right? It's
Right.
not like corporate's not fun. It's just like fun got us to a certain point, and now we actually need to just put this fun part of our business behind us and move forward in a way that's going to be more profitable.
Was that a hard decision?
By the time we got there, no.
Okay.
I think thinking about it
It
for a
just took you
while.
3 years to make it.
Yeah. I think by the time we got there, we're like, it's time. It's
Right.
time. This was fun.
Did
A
you
year
always
before,
kind of think that in the back of your head after you got some of those first corporate jobs?
yeah, in the back of our head, but in the front of our head, it's like, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna hit it big. We're gonna, get in so good at this industry. We're gonna get in with the right people. They're gonna,
Right.
it's gonna work. And it got us to a certain point, but by the time we switched over to corporate completely, we didn't have that huge hit that would have propelled us really into the industry.
Right. Okay. So now you see you're leaving the entertainment industry. You're in corporate America. 2016, 2018, 2019 rolls around, and you start seeing ads, Dollar Shave Club, Purple Mattress, and things like that. You get excited again?
Yeah, I mean, we were never not excited, right? Like, we were always excited. We always wanted to make really, really great content. Getting into the industry, it started a lot with things that we were more used to. Like, I'll do my best here, but, like, filming a live concert, it's a live event, right?
Right.
So what did we naturally start doing a lot of was, like, video testimonials, right? Where, like, we're capturing someone live, or we're filming a speech at a conference, things like that. So,
Right.
it was still kind of point and shoot. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but it was a lot of the more corporate stuff. But then
Right.
I hear what you're saying, because, like, you see it start seeing ads like Dollar Shave Club and things like that. And we're like, okay, well, we can do this too. Like, we our experience is mostly in live stuff. So the work we've been doing is mostly live stuff,
Right.
quote unquote. But, why can't we not shoot a commercial? Why can't we not put something on TV? Why can we not make a Super Bowl ad? Of course we can, right? So it was always just kind of evolving our skill sets to get there, going from live concerts to really, really corporate gigs to more narratives, that you have your shot list and your storyboards and all the details that go into
Right.
making a really, really high value video.
it is. I don't think most people understand the commitment to even a 10-minute produced video. Right?
Oh yeah.
It's a substantial amount of work and effort to go into that.
Mhm.
Okay, so if somebody's out there and they want to create a Dollar Shave Club kind of ad, right? Kind of funny and things like that, but they're not creative. Can they come to you and you help them write the script and do the whole thing? Are you cradle to grave, or are you just the
Yeah.
video production piece?
No, we do everything from treatment to delivery. So we will put together concepts. So if a client will come to us sometimes and say, "Hey, we want to put an awesome ad on TV, give us some ideas." So we have our discovery session. We come back to them and be like, we can go with this storyline, or this storyline, or maybe a combo. They're like, "Yeah, I really like storyline B." Okay, we'll go through that. Be like, "Okay, well now let's write the script." Okay, we write the script, go through revisions. Once the script's set, we do the whole thing. We do casting, we do locations, we do props, we do location scouts, we do storyboards, shot list, production maps, hire extra hands as we need them,
Yep.
get ready for production day. We have all these people. Sometimes our sets are 25, 30 people. Sometimes, for the easier stuff, it can be as small as 3 people. But, for what we're talking about here, sometimes 25, 30 people on set. And then bring it into post production where we do the whole thing there. We get the story ready, we add color, we add audio, we add motion graphics. And also, one of the things that is really, really important these days that's often overlooked is really optimizing it for different platforms, right? YouTube is a 16:9 aspect ratio. If you're putting everything on YouTube, it should look like it fits on your television.
Right.
Instagram stories are a 9:16 aspect ratio. It's a totally different look and feel, but you can
Yes.
optimize videos to look for that. And Instagram feed and Facebook feed, usually that's in more of a 1-to-1 square aspect ratio. So that's a really, really important part of delivering this to our client, is not just giving them in one ratio, in one format. If they only want to use it in one place, that's fine. But if they want to use it everywhere, you got to
Right.
give it to them a lot of different ways.
Is that the same content shot multiple times from different cameras, or is that content shot in a specific way that lets you reframe it?
Usually the latter. There are some times where it makes sense to shoot it 2 different ways. Mostly, we just kind of have our camera settings where we can see, okay, we know this needs to be in lots of different spots. So we see in our viewfinder, okay, this works here, this works here, this works here. Okay, we're good
Right.
to go.
Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, that it is super challenging to make sure that that's the case scenario, right? But if you're conscious of it in the beginning, it
Yep.
makes things a lot easier down the road.
Hmm.
This episode is going to air sometime August of 22. June or July of 22. TikTok takes the most popular website on the planet,
Okay.
right? Which is 3-second, I think, to 10-minute video clips.
Mhm.
And I think every small business owner in the world now has heard some influencers say, you have to be on TikTok, right? Do you have companies coming to you for TikTok strategies today?
We have had a few companies come to us with TikTok strategies. We have not produced a full TikTok strategy for a couple of reasons. I think for it to be really, really valuable, you want to already have a really big following, because otherwise you just end up spending a lot of money on organic content. Like what
Right.
we tell our clients mostly is like, spend your money. If you're going to spend your money on social, spend it on paid social, spend it on something that is, you can see measurable results from.
Right.
Not everybody has that same idea. There are a lot of people who are really, really successful with organic social content, professional organic social content,
Right.
but that's just not the space we have found ourselves in to this point. We like to think, hey, if you're spending on social, spend it on paid social, because you're going to put money behind that and you're going to directly see results from that. Versus,
Correct.
if it, I mean, let me just throw a random number out there. If it costs $2,500 to produce an organic social video, and you have to do that 30 days a month. I mean, there's some math. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
expensive month, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is. And not all content generates revenue.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, generates eyeballs and stuff like that. And sometimes, I mean, I know that I've put videos out there that have, one view, and thank you, mom. It's not,
Yeah.
and sometimes I've spent a lot of money on it and it just goes to nothing. But that's always a challenge to move past that.
Totally.
I've spent a lot of time and energy on creating this thing, and it's just not that good.
Sure.
Or it's just not that consumable. It might be great, but it's just not very consumable. Right.
Exactly. It's a, if you have a big following, it's probably going to get seen a lot. If you have a small following, that one organic post is unlikely to boost you to superstardom.
Yes, absolutely. So videos for TV, YouTube, Hulu, anything across the board. If you can watch it there, you'll produce the video for the business, all the way from advertising to training videos for the staff and customers.
Exactly. And one of the things that you didn't mention is websites. And what we do is a lot for video on websites. You want to have that homepage video that explains who you are, what your product is. And then when you go to your customers tab, you want to have those testimonials. When you go to your product page, you want to have more of a how it works. And there's so many different use cases, right? But having the right videos on the right spots of the website, they say the play button is the strongest call to action on the internet. So if you go to a page, the thing they're most likely to click on is that play button. It's also going to increase the time they spend on their website, which it goes back to Google. Google's like, oh, more people are spending time on this website. That means it's a good website. Let's show it more. So there's a lot of benefits beyond just watching the video. Watching the video actually helps you guys out in the long run.
Right. And explainer videos are huge for websites. And you can say so much more in a video than you can in just the text. Totally. On the text, though, do you recommend, even if it's on the web? I know social media, the recommendation is always to have transcribed text on it. Is it the same for the website as well?
No, because when you're on the website, you've got their attention already. They don't have to stop doing what they're doing. If they're on their website, they already have intention to learn, versus with social media, they're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And first you have to capture their attention for long enough for them to stop scrolling. And then naturally it plays without sound, right? It naturally plays without sound. You have to press that. You have to click on it on your with your thumb, or if you're on a computer, you have to unmute that button. So you have to have subtitles on social because it plays without sound. When it's on the website, we always give our clients a subtitle file so that the viewer can toggle that subtitle button. But they're very, very likely to watch it with sound if they're already on your website.
Right. Okay. Now, here's the tough question. Why would a business use Consume Media and not go to a company like Fiverr?
Sure. Great question. I think we have a few value propositions that are really, really important and have helped us be successful. First of all, as I've said to you, we can accomplish any type of video that a business needs. I'll kind of do a roundabout way of answering your question because you said why not Fiverr. But let me kind of phrase it a different way first and then go there. There's a lot of really, really great video production companies out there. I'd never go and say Consume Media is the best video production company in the world. There are a ton of great video production companies, but what you find is that a lot of the really great video production companies only want to do the really, really high-end work. They only want to do the $100,000, $200,000 plus projects. Right. That's not how we operate because that's not what our clients need. Our clients do need the $100,000 projects, but they also need the down and dirty testimonial and the how-to video and the 15-second ad, right? So the fact that we can do the everyday content and the high-end content helps us separate ourselves from some really, really great production companies out there. When it comes to like the Fiverrs, I think there's two things that you miss out on when you go with a company like that? Well, three things. First of all, the obvious one is quality, right? You're going to get a less quality work on Fiverr.
It's a crapshoot.
90, 99, I don't know, a lot percent of the time, you're going to get a lesser quality work. Secondly, at a video marketing agency like us, we have specialists at every end of the process, right? We have specialists in copywriting, in preparing for production, in shooting, in editing, in animating. We have specialists across the board versus a Fiverr. Again, you're going to get one person who is able to script, who is able to edit, who is able to shoot, but they're not specialists, right? They can do it, but they're not specialists. So, that kind of goes along with the quality thing. And then, there's also the relationship thing. I think, I feel like my best clients are ones that I have a great relationship with. And I think that's one of the reasons they want to keep coming back to us is that, first of all, we know their business inside and out at this point. Second of all, we're fun to work with. And third of all, we can have that conversation about strategy. We can have that conversation about what's next. We can have that conversation about goals versus with Fiverr. It's like, hey, I need a animated video produce, click.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I think on Fiverr you've got to be the producer, you've got to be the maybe the copywriter, I don't know, but you've got to be the producer, the project manager, the director, all of those things, and then those come with skill sets that you don't that your team has by default that they don't necessarily have. So I think that's
exactly
absolutely. I would agree. There's a place in the world for Fiverr jobs, but generally not video, or at least high-end video production, right?
Exactly. If you're getting started up, if you need something for your YouTube and you're one person and you're not spending money on marketing, go for it, right? But if you have a marketing budget, if you have real marketing goals, if you have a marketing team, do it right.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Leo, if somebody wanted to work with your team, how would they find you?
Yeah, so we are the best way is our website, www.consume-media.com. We're very active on LinkedIn. I'm personally very active on LinkedIn. My name's Leo Falkenstein. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the world. And, you can message me there. You can submit the contact form on our website. Those are probably the best two ways to learn more about Consume Media.
Fantastic. And if somebody's watching this show and they think, man, I might be too small or I might be too big for a company like Consume Media, who is a sweet spot client that you really enjoy working with, that you feel gets the biggest bang for their buck when they work with you?
Yeah, no. So we work with a lot of high growth startups. So companies that have raised their Series A's, B's, C's, D's. That's really where we've kind of found our sweet spot. Typically that means they have anywhere from 50 to 300, 400 employees. Usually they have multiple people on their marketing team, but not a marketing team so big that they're thinking about bringing their video production in-house, which, some of the big companies are doing. That's kind of our sweet spot. Again, that 50 to 300, 400 person company. If if you're funded, that's great because that means you have money that you have to spend on marketing, and if you have to spend money on marketing, video is a pretty good place.
Absolutely. It is I believe that video has been the future for the past 50 years, right? So, and it's not going to stop. It's going to keep going, right?
Yeah.
And
just more use cases.
Absolutely. And it's so much fun. And it's, to me, that you create the video production one time and you can use it for, sometimes years, right? So it's pretty fun stuff. So, Leo, thank you for your time today. I had such a blast talking with you about your company and what your team does. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your story.
Appreciate it, Ken. Pleasure to chat with you as well.
Awesome. You have a great day.
You too.
That's it for today's show, folks. If you'd like to join my text line community, the number is 314-370-2871. All you have to do to join that text line is send me any question about business or technology. I'll do all the research and I'll give you an absolutely free, totally unbiased answer. Get to work.